My name is Jeff Anderson. I'm the manager of consulting services at UPMC. I was tasked with a significant challenge by our CFO, which I'm going to share with you what that challenge was, the processes that we put in place to accomplish the mission, and what the results were. Our CFO came to us with a challenge. He said, we have rogue spending going on in our internal catering business.
We had real issues with paper-based processes for ordering catering. It's a big use. We've got a lot of users of catering in the health system.
Catering business has a litany of different ordering channels today, none of which are very well controlled.
Paper-based faxes that were sent, no way to accumulate the data, no way to mine the data to determine usage patterns. So these were real business issues, critical business issues that we couldn't address.
In addition, there's a tremendous amount of maverick buying going out. End users going to local restaurants, local caterers, coming through different channels to get reimbursed for those expenses. So he came to us with that challenge to try to corral that spend and funnel all of the purchasing transactions into one streamlined path. The catering business is a big operation in UPMC. They satisfy the needs of thousands of employees. They average about 2,000 orders every month. Their annual revenue is about $3 million, so it's not a small business. But it was treated as a stepchild to the rest of the operations because it was an internal business. The catering manager, when we kicked the project off, told us about some of his pain points. He had one stack of faxes that were coming through in the fax machine that he had to try to decipher whether there was a proper signature on or not. He also had to decipher in the fax whether they wanted one meal or two, or what kind of, they may or may not have included condiments, etc. How do you make that meal to suit the customer's requirements when you can't tell exactly what they are every time? The next segment of orders he had coming through were phone calls. The phone was ringing off the hook, and every time he answered the phone, he had to recite the business model and what they could order, what they couldn't. He was explaining the menu every time. He just didn't have resources to handle all the phone calls. And then they had forms coming in, electronic forms, which were improved over the other two processes, but only certain business units have them. And the more they proliferated these web forms, the more maintenance they had to do to make any updates to menus, and they still lacked the branding to be able to get customers to those web forms. So you had customers and business units doing all three of those things. The issue that they were facing was that it was very easy for an end user to go outside to a restaurant or to a local caterer and then either expense it, the charges, or create a check request to pay those fees. So what we wanted to make sure we could do is draw them in so they wanted to come to UPMC Catering. They weren't pushed towards them, and make it easy for them to do so.
This was a huge productivity gain for us, again, both from a customer satisfaction standpoint and from a processing standpoint. We took mounds of paper, thousands of orders every week in catering, and by migrating it onto the Prodigo platform, we had an easy, customer-friendly solution.
We've started to see a reduction in our check requests coming from our end users. We're seeing a similar reduction in expense report submittals for this type of spend. Additionally, we're fully compliant with Sarbanes-Oxley approval controls, like the rest of the business is.
And on top of that, we have very rich data around usage, so we can see who's using the catering.
We are enabling sites for those entities and putting them on the marketplace and driving our users to the marketplace so it becomes the single entity for everything that they need.
When you add all those things together, in my mind, it became a no-brainer. This is something that as a CFO, I love it. I know our supply chain chief loves it.
The new catering site allowed us to corral that spend into one channel and brand and market the business appropriately.
When we survey our users now, the feedback that we're getting is that it takes me less time to process an order. So that was important because it's going to bring them back to the solution.
These internal solutions have been equally accepted and loved by our internal customers, so it's been a real win for us.
This is the website for the UPMC catering solution within our e-marketplace. This particular page is the home page that our end users would be delivered to once they access the marketplace and then went out to the catering solution. By the way, if you're interested in seeing more about the process and how the website actually works in detail, visit this link that's here, and we will walk you through end to end so you can see the entire process.